Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast. Elliot Shore Parks, James Seltzer with you. And Elliot, now it's starting to feel like, football's just back. I have you on. We got stuff to talk about. There are tweets, there's videos, there's all kind of action. It's so exciting, buddy. It's like it is the dog days of summer, yet for the Eagles, it's like the puppy days. They're just starting out and getting running,
Well, I'll say this. It was silly hot at practice.
Dude, I just walked Ruben and I walked back in and I was like, I wish I didn't have to go outside again.
Yeah, it was super. Now, what's funny is some of the players had on like sweatpants and long pants and long sleeves. And I'll say, as someone that used to work out in a sweatsuit, like, I get it. I do think there is something nice, as from one elite athlete to another. Yeah, there is something nice about getting an extra sweat. But yeah, it was really, really hot. And you could see it kind of in practice. There were a few chippy moments. Sidney Brown, to no surprise, almost got into it with someone. And then on Tuesday, they're going to put the pads on. So on Tuesday, we'll start to probably see a little bit more of that. It's going to be even hotter on Tuesday. I think I saw that.
Oh, good. That's perfect, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think I saw that it's supposed to feel like almost 110 degrees at one point tomorrow. I know. Dude, we're obviously not like a global warming pod, but it is crazy how different the weather is than it was 20 years ago. It just is. And like, it is just way, way hotter than it used to be. So no, but outside of that, there's plenty to get into. But it feels like training camp. It's silly hot. You can tell the players are starting to get a little fed up already. So fun times.
Yeah, I couldn't ask for more on the day that Jack and Joe play tennis.
I know. I was thinking about that. Do you think they'll try to?
No, it's set. They're doing it. It's locked in, buddy. People coming, the whole thing.
Here's what I'll say. Obviously, we know Joe is one for excuses. He's one for playing with the rule book. And normally, I think his excuses aren't that great. The weather, while I don't think, and now they're both playing in it, and I don't think either of them will use it, playing in that heat is super, super hard.
Oh, it sounds horrible. I'm not kidding when I say I didn't want to walk Ruben. Like, halfway through the walk, I was like, bro, can I just pick you up and walk back inside? This is horrible out here. Like, walking.
Dude, by the way, Kingsley hates to go outside. It's crazy. And so last night I tried to get him to go out in our backyard before we went to bed, and he wouldn't do it. So I was just like, all right, whatever. And then at 4 a.m., he woke me up and had to take. Of course. And I'm like, first of all, it's sad because I can tell you're becoming an older dog because you can't hold it as long. But also, I'm so into my sleep score right now, my Oura ring, and I went to bed early. And so when he woke me up when he went to bed at 4 a.m., when he woke me up at 4 a.m., I'm not even kidding. My first thought was, this is going to mess my sleep score up.
That is so funny.
It wasn't even getting out of bed.
That's what I mean. It's not the actual getting woken up. It's the sleep scores.
Yeah. And it was like an hour before my alarm was going to go off. But regardless.
Oh my God. I could never get one of those rings. It would just be like,
the ring would.
Be like, it would revolt against me. It would be like, what are you doing to yourself? Yeah, like, are you okay? It's not healthy.
Yeah.
What are you
doing? The company would be like, we need to study you. Here's like a special ring. But regardless, to circle all the way back, I do think that they both have a bit of an argument that playing in that heat is definitely going to impact how they play.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Except
for the fact that I have to be out there for it. Other than my actual, having to stand out there, I think it'd be hilarious.
I'm going to try to come over, by the way. So you are going.
Oh, I'm going. I'll be there.
Okay. All right, cool. So
12 o'clock, FDR Park. If any Go Birds real ones want to come by, say hi, hang out. I'll be there. Be awesome.
Saw a few pod listeners at practice today, which is always fun. Always good to listen, to meet the people. But going to be even hotter tomorrow. I'm going to try to get over to see the tennis match. So
and according to Tucker, it will be streaming on YouTube tomorrow as well.
There we go.
So tune in if you want to be smart and avoid the heat.
Exactly.
Watch it on YouTube.
Should be quite the display.
Speaking of displays, let's dive into practice today. And a few days since we spoke, me and BLG on Friday, a few practices.
Yeah.
But let's start with today because I saw your Twitter and I saw one tweet come out in all caps. We had what happens to be, it turns out, a rare occurrence these days down at training camp. Who had a big day today?
Yeah, so we had our first Jalen Hurts interception of the summer, and
first one in a while, right? Because he ended last one on the good streak, Well,
last year, he set the franchise record with 305 throws without an interception, breaking the record, which I think was 158, if I'm not mistaken. But
wow, he crushed the record.
Yeah, he crushed the record,
buried it.
Now the sad thing about that is he'll probably never break it again, which
kills
the excitement.
The real sad thing is when he gets like 90 and you have to start counting.
I know.
Again. You're like, well, he's at 122. It's like It's just not the same.
That's why I went to college, you know, to be able to do that type of stuff.
This is why you do take shots publicly from JJ Watt for this right here.
Well, Cam Jurgens too. I don't know if you saw this.
No. It's getting the families taking shots. What happened? Well,
so it was perceived as a shot at the training camp stats. He basically said 7-on-7 is not real football. I don't know why you keep track of the stats. I think he was clearly being negative about 7-on-7.
Yes, clearly. I mean, as someone on this podcast has been many times, I have said to you many times, I take very little from 7-on-7. So
I would just say two things to Cam. One, he makes fantastic jerky, so props to him for that. True. But two, I don't know if the coaches would love to hear 7-on-7's not real football.
There you go. Look at you sitting around. He's not even on be smart, dude. What are you doing?
He's not even on the field for 7-on-7s either. So
that's another good point. Maybe that's why he doesn't like it.
Yeah, but
I guess it's fair if anyone's going to rip 7-on-7s, the offense and defense.
Yeah, they're not even out there.
To rip it.
It's a good point. Actually, good for his brand.
I think he is actually making the correct calls. That ain't football.
Exactly. He's like, I'm not out there. It's not real football. But regardless, on the 65th row, I think it is, of training camp, Jalen Hurts threw his first interception on Monday, and it was a bad throw by Jalen, just to be real. So I've obviously don't get to watch replays of these. To me, it looked like he didn't have any pressure in his face.
You're saying you don't have a replay system in your head, Elliot?
No, we all know unfortunately, you do. They don't send me the tape.
We all know you do. The way you can recount what you see, you've got some sort of system in there.
That's a good point. But what I guess I'm trying to say is, it looked to me like he didn't have to throw off of his back foot, and he did throw off of his back foot. So he kind of lofted the ball down the right sideline. It was probably 25-ish, 30-ish yards down the field, and it was a yard behind AJ. And so Quinyon easily intercepted it, ran it back. You know, he didn't make it all the way for a touchdown, but he was able to move because the ball was underthrown. I don't want to say it was like catching a punt, but it was a pretty easy interception. But my main takeaway from that is not the Jalen Hurts interception, which we will talk about. We'll talk more about Jalen later in the pod. But my main takeaway from day 4 was like, man, Quinyon is just awesome. And I saw Cooper DeJean was ranked the 60th best player in the NFL, which is no shot at Cooper. That's crazy. 60th best player. Like, props to him for having a great year. Is Quinyon been on it or will be on it?
He hasn't been on it yet, as far as I know. And if he's not on it, it will just...
I'd be surprised if he is.
We've talked about this all off season, and it's something where if you're not here and you weren't watching every game all year and you just kind of pop in, you're like, oh, look at Cooper DeJean, look at the Super Bowl touchdown, big play and all that. But it's like Quinyon was easily the better player all year long. Quinyon, I've said I think he's the best rookie I've ever seen in my life as an Eagles fan ever. And I feel incredibly confident in saying that. I think that if you're here, and Cooper's great. Again, I hate to do it because I'm not trying to like besmirch Cooper DeJean, who I think is awesome, and we're so lucky to have both of them. But Quinyon's better. He's just better. Like, he's a better, and look, Cooper does multiple things. And if you want to argue, he's versatile. But as far as being a cornerback goes, was what they were last year, Quinyon's better.
100%. And, it showed on Monday. So he has the interception, which, again, not a great throw, but good job coming down with the ball. And on another play, I think it was 11-on-11, Jalen got the ball, looked to AJ on the left side of the field, and wanted to go to him, but Quinyon had such good coverage that he turned away and went somewhere else. Quinyon had a really nice rep against AJ in one-on-ones. Now, AJ caught the ball because stopping AJ in one-on-one coverage is basically impossible. Like, not even a 7-on-7. I'm talking one-on-one receiver versus corner. It's such an advantage to the receiver as is, but especially when you're AJ, that advantage is even stronger. But what's important to me about the Quinyon thing is he did it on both sides of the field. The interception came on the right side of the field, and then the rep against AJ where he didn't throw the ball to him came on the left side. So we know this year that Quinyon is going to move from side to side. It sounds like it's something they want to do against elite number 1 receivers, which makes sense. You don't have Darius Slay anymore. Keely, maybe a few weeks in, you start to feel more comfortable with him. But, week 1, now CeeDee's in the slot quite a bit. But when, Mike Evans week 4, Mike Evans week 4 would kind of be it. You want Quinyon against the best guys.
Well, and Vic did say that they weren't going to do it all the time. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, he was like, there's got to be a reason for it, was what he said, essentially.
Right. So on a day where he didn't follow AJ, but he covered AJ on both sides of the field, you start to see just how like honestly just like freaking good this guy is. Like it's crazy. I do think having elite expectations for him to a certain degree are unfair this year just because it's so hard from year 1 to year 2 to be elite again. And we've said if he doesn't have a great year, we're not selling Quinyon stock. If anything, like BLG said, he'll buy the stock, right? Because if it's priced low. But he's great, man. Like he's great. And you talk to him at the podium. He doesn't have the personality that a number one corner kind of does, big play slay. Like he's not that. But he is somebody that is very similar, I think, to Jalen, Devontae, AJ, where he just does the work. And the Eagles talk a lot about drafting guys that love football and guys that are good for the culture of the team. Quinyon is definitely that. And because he's quiet, I think we don't often talk about his personality. But, I think about last year in camp, he's talking trash to the receivers as a rookie.
Dude, that was the moment where I like the pick, but when he did that thing with AJ where he's like, that was a trash route, and it was like his first day or whatever, I was like, yo, dude. I was like, that's like number one cornerback swag right there.
I loved last year against Washington in the championship game where I forget if he got the interception or someone else did, but he goes like this and does
he got it. I think
he got it. Yeah, it was doing the Terry McLaurin kind of celebration thing. So yeah, I mean, it was just really impressive. And we talk about the corners every day, but it is tough going up against these guys in practice. Like Keeley gives up catches, but then you're reminded, well, he's going up against who might be the best receiver in the NFL in AJ Brown. So Quinyon on Monday, it's just an impressive thing to watch from a second-year player. And we shouldn't take it for granted just because we know he's good and he's quiet. Whenever Quinyon has a day like that, it deserves to lead the pod. So that was my main takeaway, just how good Quinyon is.
Yeah, the iron sharpens iron thing, I think, definitely played out last year for this team and will again. And look, funny again because it's Cooper, but, AJ talked about it with Cooper and the all-pro Coop thing going up against him. I was going to make him better. And, I just think, that's the thing. I think Cooper's great. Quinyon is the quiet killer here. And, and look, Darrelle Revis was pretty quiet too. I know that a lot of times it's that swag type guy, but Darrelle Revis, he reminds me a lot in the way he goes about his business, like Revis did.
And I'll preface this like you did because that's important. Like I'm truly not trying to diminish Cooper, but let's also be honest. If Cooper could play shutdown corner on the outside the way Quinyon would, that's where Cooper would be lining up. Like Cooper has a different skill set and he's great at it. And I think in some ways, I think Quinyon is more valuable, but Cooper is very valuable. What Quinyon does is one of the most hard to find commodities in the NFL. And I wasn't big on him before the draft. I was obviously wrong. And it was a good pick by Howie. Like he passed over.
It was a great pick.
He passed over a lot of high profile, big school guys to take the small school, quiet player. And he absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to see. And it's exciting to have him. I mean, we had Slay, but Slay was traded here. Like it's been a while since we drafted and developed, Lito. Exactly. And even then, we've never in my lifetime drafted and developed a, annual all pro contender type.
And he didn't start right away. Lito didn't start right away. He got to develop a little bit. Yeah.
So Quinyon really, it's a special player. Speaking of the secondary, and we're going to get through, all the stuff like you mentioned, Jalen, we'll get to some other stuff going on in practice, but I actually I want to mention something that happened on the field, but use as a way to talk about another of your tweets I saw, because there were two tweets that stood out to me from today. So let's combine the Andrew Makuba injury. I believe him and David Gray, was it who?
Danny Gray,
excuse me.
But good by you, considering you're not
too bad, right?
Yeah, pretty good.
Like the second time I heard his name when I saw the tweet, the first time was on the pod with you and BLG.
Yeah.
But got the injury out. It doesn't seem super serious, but was out today with a shoulder. But the reason I bring it up, I want you to talk about the Makuba injury itself and the position, but you were pretty strong with that tweet today, putting out, like, you didn't just say, I think the Eagles should probably trade for a safety, or I might need to make a move here. You said the Eagles, quote unquote, very obviously need to trade for a safety. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so a bunch of things in there. And let me first preface this by saying, we can talk about a little more when we talk about Jalen. I thought overall the defense was really good today, and the coverage was very good. So just putting that out there before we talk about this. But here's the thing. So first of all, you said you don't think the Makuba thing is serious, and maybe.
Oh, I don't know if it is. I'm sorry. I just said it.
Well, I just want to. No, I know, but
I don't know if it is. Yeah, please.
Right. I just wanted to circle back and say we don't know. And Nick was asked about it. Nick gave, I thought, a little bit of a vague answer. Now, sometimes Nick just gives vague answers because last year he said Jalen had an ankle injury and it blew up. So, I think he's just trying to get out of it to an extent. But the Eagles practice on Tuesday. They practice on Thursday and Friday. And if you'd ask me right now, I would guess Makuba's not out there for that. So, like, we'll see. Makuba went into the NFL. I think shout out EJ Smith from the Inquirer. I think he's the one that tweeted this out around draft time. The smallest safety in the NFL is what Andrew Makuba would be. So while injuries are never a player's fault, really, and injuries are fluky, you can't sit here and act surprised that Andrew Makuba is hurt when he is the smallest frame safety in the NFL and he's injured 3 days into camp. So Makuba not out of practice today, and we will see if he is out there this week. Maybe he's out Tuesday and it's no big deal and whatever. But even if he was healthy, here's the deal. They have nobody next to Reed Blankenship. And when Makuba's gone, that especially becomes true. Now, you can talk yourself into Makuba as a starter this year. He's a second-round pick. He was really good at Texas. Vic picked him. Like, you can paint a picture of where, you know what, like, let's give Makuba a shot. But the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender. They're going to be playing in massive games, and expecting Makuba to be a contributing player as a rookie, as a second-round pick is borderline unfair to Makuba in his development. Like, throwing him out there, and I don't think they'll throw him out there, but asking him to be the guy right away, A, I don't think is a good solution for the team, and B, I don't think is good for Makuba. So with Makuba out, it was Sidney Brown out there. We'll see with Sidney. It's been 2 years. He hasn't really played. There's been mitigating circumstances with both. As a rookie, he didn't get out there, and then they had to get Chauncey because he tore his ACL in the final. So I get that he's never had a chance where it was like, okay, he should have won this job and he didn't. But I don't see it with Sidney, and I don't know if the Eagles really see it with Sidney. McCollum was in there last year. He was the top backup to Chauncey. Andre Sam has gotten reps there, and we've talked about this on the pod, but like, they have to go get a safety, whether or not it is some guy that can just be a backup and at least like he raises the floor of the group, and whether that's signing a safety. I'm not even saying it has to be somebody that has to play, but counting on Makuba and Sidney Brown to be your guys at safety, I think's crazy. Now, you could move Cooper there full time, but I don't love that idea. So you have all the assets. There are guys out there. Justin Simmons out there. There's another safety out there whose name's escaping me right now. But like, there are guys that you could go add. And I was all for, and we talked about it during the offseason, take your time, see if they can do it. Like, that time's over in my book. You're just wasting time getting this guy acclimated, because there's a good chance he'll have to start week 1 or at least be there as a safety net.
Yeah, and look, I didn't know the EJ Jenkins. I'm sorry, EJ
Smith.
Jenkins. Thank you, EJ Smith factoid. That's a little alarming. I didn't realize he was the smallest
safety in the NFL.
Yeah, don't love hearing that. That's a concern. I'm surprised that wasn't brought up when he was drafted more, where he will be the startist or smallest or whatever, because that's the kind of thing, but that is surprising and concerning that he's that small. I knew he wasn't a big safety. I didn't realize he was quite that small. So that's concern. And then, obviously just an injury already, however it happens, is a concern.
And we don't know if it's serious or not.
Yeah. And even if it's not, even if he misses a week.
But it could be, is my point.
Sure, yeah. Of course. So look, I get it. I don't trust Sidney Brown. I agree with you about Cooper. I think he's far more valuable being able to move to the slot and back and forth and whatever you want to do. So with that in mind, with what you said in mind, do you think, and Justin Simmons obviously is the name that pops in everyone's mind first. Mm-hmm. He is out there. Like, they don't need assets other than money to sign him. So it's an interesting name to fix stuff. I do think, they didn't sign him last year. He's still out there. He might not want to sign yet. He might want to take his time and not come into camp. Like, there's all kinds of hate. But... Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying there's all kinds of factors in this. My question to you is, do you think it is more likely that they sign Justin Simmons, trade for someone of Justin Simmons' ilk, a
name we know,
a name we know, or do you think it's more of like an Anthony Harris type move where they find someone else who can come in and play if they have to, but is not someone who you think is a big time difference maker? Like, if you had to bet what you think they do.
Right. So I'll preface this by saying I don't have any information on which way they're leaning. So this is just me guessing, just spec. I can't get an answer as to how they feel about Justin Simmons. So the fact they haven't signed him, I think, is kind of telling, but just putting that out there. I think if they trade for somebody, it will be like the Anthony Harris ilk. Somebody that has started and played in the NFL. You can talk yourself into him being the guy, but probably not on a 2 or 3 year deal. Probably not the guy for 2026. Just somebody that has like an NFL safety, someone that can play the position at an NFL level. And I think you probably maybe trade a player for him. Maybe you trade a late round pick that can turn into a 5th if he starts all the games or whatever. I don't think they'll go out and add someone where oh my God, I can't believe they traded for this guy. He like with Jahan Dotson, when they traded for Jahan Dotson, now it didn't work out
No,
great.
but I know exactly what you mean.
Everybody was like, oh my God, Jahan Dotson.
I know this guy.
Yeah, exactly. A former first round pick, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it will be that type, but I'll try to get a better answer on it. But that would be my guess on it right now.
Now, before we move on and get back to other stuff from practice and all that, is there, just while we're on the safety thing, do you think there's any other position they could still add at potentially, or do you think it's just kind of safety and then it's all? Because look, a lot of times they don't have anybody at this point, anyone of note at this point in the season. Do you think there is another position that you look at that is unsettled enough where you think, maybe they could bring in another guy in that, like they just did Obo or whatever, at
Okoronkwo, I believe.
I'm just gonna go, but BLG called him Obo, and I was like, I love that.
No, I'm in on Obo
maybe,
too.
I'm in on Obo. Anyway, do you think there's another position where you could see them? Look, you never know how he could do. He's always looking to make the team better,
right?
But a position you look at and say, like, maybe.
I mean, I think corner still, just because. So Adoree Jackson was out there with the starters again today. They do rotate, like Keeley gets reps with the starters as well. But in my opinion, having watched all of practices, it feels to me like Adoree is starting to get more and more of the first team reps. I'm not tracking
that's interesting.
But it seems to me like he's starting to get more and more. It's the second day in a row where he's been the first guy out there. In fact, it might even be the third straight day in a row. I'd have to look it up, but it does feel like he's getting more and more reps out there. He did do something with his finger today, and he walked off the field kind of like shaking it. So he's probably fine, but we'll see if he's out there tomorrow. I thought Mac McWilliams, the rookie out of Central Florida, had a really good day. He broke up a pass from Johnny Wilson in the end zone, and
wow, that's a height difference.
That's a height differential. Now, I was standing next to, speaking of height, I was standing next to BLG when he made the play, and props to Mac McWilliams, great snap by him. Like, that's exactly what you want to see from a younger, smaller corner. But Johnny Wilson's not had a good start to camp, and we'll get into that maybe more in a second. But to answer your question, at corner, I could see, because maybe they don't like what they see from Keeley. Adoree, I think, is like a safety net guy, not an every snap guy. Mac McWilliams is a rookie. And then after that, it's all just undrafted free agent type players. So I think corner is maybe one, but I think if they go get a corner, I think they would acquire potentially a higher level player that's going to start every snap as opposed to safety.
All right, let's get to like around the field, around the diamond, as you'd say in baseball.
There you go.
But let's look. We're over 20 minutes into the pod. He threw an interception today. That's all we know. Yeah. Let's start with Jalen real quick.
Yeah, so Jalen was 16 of 20, no touchdowns, 1 interception. We haven't talked since Saturday. Saturday, he was not good. In Saturday's practice, I thought his accuracy was actually poor, like uncharacteristically poor. He threw balls behind guys. He overthrew Dotson in the middle of the field, where he was somewhat lucky it wasn't intercepted. He had another really bad miss in that practice. And then on Monday, he had the interception, which I already described, but not a great throw, off your back foot, lofting it. Like, the second it was thrown, I thought there was a shot it was going to be intercepted, and it was. So not two good days of practice, but I think for different reasons. Like on Saturday, the accuracy was a problem. He had time, he just didn't do a good job of it. The defensive line's starting to win a little bit more, and I think you saw that on Monday, but also I thought the coverage was really good. Now, where I would take this out on Jalen, and where, not to circle to a Jalen debate, but I am very much, when the team is good, it's on the quarterback, and when the team is not, it's on the quarterback. So if I'm going to sit here and say Jalen should be the second best quarterback in the NFL because he won the Super Bowl, it'd be hypocritical of me on a practice where the offense did not look good to say anything else. Then I think that falls on Jalen a little bit. Like, they had two series in the red zone where they were within the 10-yard line. Now, both resulted in Jalen running for a touchdown, and I do think fans will go, well, that's good. But just from years of watching practice, it's not good. Like, the coverage was really good. He was holding on to the ball, and the offense didn't click. And you should be throwing for touchdowns in the red zone. You shouldn't be running for touchdowns in the red zone, in my opinion. So his accuracy was better, but like
in practice, you mean?
In practice, yes.
Yeah,
to be clear.
In games, all they do is run.
Yeah, to be clear, in practice, in the games, if he's running for touchdowns from 10 yards out, that's
we're
great.
good. We're good.
Yes, thank you for clarifying.
Important clarification. I thought there,
in practice, I think the play you call and the play you run, you should have something there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, he didn't throw interceptions, he didn't force it, so like, it's not a net negative. But I think when you take into account that you should be winning those reps when you take into account how much he had to hold it. And that's on the defense too. I give him a C- for the day. And overall, just 2 days where the offense hasn't been great. Like the defense is starting to win. So yeah, you can react to the Jalen stuff before we talk about the defense, but I just not two great practices for Jalen.
Yeah, look again. I
I know what you're gonna say.
I
I
don't care.
know.
Look, it sounds like on Saturday or whatever, he was just off. I think that's going to happen to everyone. Once upon a time, you're just off, and you're for whatever reason. And otherwise, look, I think the one thing that is and we've learned this over the years. I think, I remember with what's the 1 year? Maybe it was 22 where we came in. Being like, oh, like the defense really looks good. I'm worried about Jalen or whatever. And then it ended up being, oh, wow, the defense was actually just good. Like, it's hard to judge sometimes.
22, I think. I think it was 22.
Yeah, exactly, 22. And then Jalen was amazing. So it's just hard to, I can't take too much. That's part of the reason I don't overreact to the training camp stuff and why we kind of go back and forth on that stuff. But look, I think we call them like we see them. And I'm not going to worry too much about a couple bad days of practice, but it's that's why we keep talking about them.
So quick note too, and I haven't tweeted this yet. I want to get your take on it before.
A little exclusive for the
exactly. Yeah. So we talked about it a little bit on the last pod, and I'm trying to get my stats out, which is why you see me leaning over the table. But so through four practices now, Jalen's thrown it 78 times. In 2024, he threw it 68 times. In 2023, it was 60 times. And he's never been over 70. So,
same number of practices, same number. Same time. Okay.
Same number. And now
that's fascinating.
Now they're taking more reps, which is part of it, obviously.
That's part that matters. How many more reps? Is it like a big time number or just a little?
Ready for this great live podcasting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
Podcasting.
What's 88 plus 29? 108.
Yeah, 117.
117. Okay, so last year they had 113 reps through 4 practices. This year they have 117.
Okay, so barely a difference. That's
barely a difference, and he's thrown it 10 more times.
So that's significant. My point was, if it were 50 more reps, the 10 more times might be a little less.
And this also,
so I mean, that's notable.
There's quarterback runs in there that are the result of pass plays that don't work out. So they're throwing it more. They are throwing it more through the first 4 practices. So that was it. I
think it's fascinating. Look, we've come in, and who knows again how this plays out. We're in the early part of training camp, but I came into the season expecting them to throw a little more, and we don't think they're going to stop using Saquon, but I do think they're going to be aware of Saquon's carries, if nothing else, and just kind of try and monitor him throughout the season and get him to be ready in October or February if they need him. Sorry, October baseball. I think that's going to be a part of it. So I love to see them coming in and lean on Jalen. I would love to see that. We both agree, like, use Saquon, you have him, all that. But I think it's good to work on that. You can run the ball.
And also, I do honest to God think Jalen will do what's right for the team. Like, I don't think he's going to call more passes for himself because he wants to prove people wrong. But I'm also frankly okay if Jalen wants to call his own number like a little bit. Like, again, do what's right for the team, but also I think the passing game's good and I think Jalen's good. And I don't want them to defer completely. So the other thing that happened over the weekend that we even talked about, which is related to this, is Kevin Patullo was asked, do you anticipate being that run first type offense again, or, are things going to change? And he was kind of like, yeah, we're the Eagles. It starts with the run. And I think they will throw it more this year, but I thought that was an interesting line from him.
Yeah, and look, we know not to take what people say
for sure.
And I'd be interested to know if him and Nick talk after that, and he's like, "Oh, Kev, I see what you did there," or if it's the other way around or whatever. Yeah, it'd be funny. All right, let's get to some of the other stuff going on around the field. You mentioned the D. It seemed like a couple good days for the D since we last talked. Who stood out? I know that you mentioned Mac McWilliams. I know I'll just throw a name out there just because I know people get so excited about him, and hard as a defensive lineman to flash too much early in training camp. But the Ty Robinson thing, people are freaking pumped, man.
Yeah.
What have you seen from the defense, and has Ty Robinson flashed?
So Ty Robinson, I believe, wasn't first team reps, but he did get reps against the first team offense today. They did a drill where I think it was the third team or second team defense, depending. They kind of were mix and match against the first team offense. I personally have not seen Ty Robinson flash. That doesn't mean he hasn't. Maybe other beat reporters saw a play that I missed. I've not seen that from him. I will say, I'll reiterate what I said from OTAs, which is he just looks like he's ready to be an NFL player. Like physically, you just look at him and it's like, yeah, that guy is ready to contribute. He's tall, he's extremely strong. Like I don't think he's a high ceiling guy, but I think his floor is really high. So good. Good to see him get out there and do well. The defensive lineman that I do think really flashed today and has flashed all weekend, back from Saturday now to today. Moro Ojomo has been awesome. He's consistently in the backfield. Now, you could flip that and say maybe Tyler Steen's not playing great, and they don't have pads on, which is noteworthy. Tomorrow they will have the pads on. But Moro Ojomo has been everything you could hope for from a pass rusher through 4 days of training camp. And it's a huge year for him. He talked after practice and said he's worked a lot on the technique of pass rushing. He's learned a lot from Jalen Carter. He's preparing for more snaps. He worked out all offseason to be in great shape. I do wonder if you're like Moro Ojomo or Jalen Carter and you worked hard and everybody's like, look at Jordan Davis, look what great shape he's in. If you're kind of like, guess what, guys? Like, I'm sorry, I didn't have 26 pounds to lose, but I also worked out really hard. And, if there's a little bit of that, but no, he's been awesome. He's been really, really good. And he was great again today. I saw a lot of other beats tweeting about him. So I feel, validated in saying that. And he was really, really awesome on Saturday. And that's the thing, like the defensive line's unproven, but man, the flip side of that is
the upside is high.
You look at them and they could be really, really good. Like there's a wide variance for this defensive line. There's a world where this time next year we're saying they have the best defensive line in football, like bar none. The Rams are pretty good, but regardless, or there's a world where we're going, they got to completely rebuild this thing. The defensive line.
No, you're right. There's a ton of variance there, and a lot of unproven guys, and like we've talked about on the edge, Nolan Smith, your most proven guy, him or Ojulari, which is what it is, and Jalen Carter obviously is a stud. Jalen Carter back on the field today, which you like?
Yeah, he was back. Good to see. I was never concerned about it, but
no
one was.
But
out there,
you just be out there. We're good. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's fast. And look, I of all the stuff that the non-padded linemen, I find it really hard to put too much into that stuff. But Ojomo is someone who I was excited about after last year. I was excited to see the development and just hearing and seeing all the positive stuff going on with Ojomo. I mean, it has to be exciting because he's a super important player for this team. I mean, we've talked about it. I think that's just in terms of variance, I think that's the single position on the team or position group on the team that has the widest swing, because it really could be something where it could be not enough around Jalen Carter, or it could legit, to your point, be the best line of football. Like if people take steps forward, if Jalen Carter takes a step forward, if Ojomo is what we think he could be, like they could be insanely good up front. So it's fascinating.
Well, to your point about the
and important, variance, obviously too. Yeah,
and I think your point about the widened variance is a good one because, like, maybe the safeties are good, but the safeties are not going to be an outstanding.
That's my point. They're not going to be that high.
Exactly. Keely Ringo might be good, and then maybe, but
we know, like, at least Quinyon and Cooper are going to be this probably. It's certain, where it's like the D line. It's like other than Jalen Carter, like it really could go. I mean, Nolan Smith, I trust him. I like him. He's someone who has had 8 good regular season games or whatever in his career, and also is coming off an injury. Yeah. Exactly. So it's just very unproven. Same with the Jomo,
Yeah, but I think the defense is playing well, and the defense has started to win the reps more. Again, today they did a bunch of situational stuff like 4th and 5s, 4th and 4 from the goal or whatever. And I thought the defense won almost all those snaps, first and second team. I have 2 random players I want to talk about. And then honestly, there's really not much more from practice.
That's perfect. I pick Zoe up. No big deal.
Sorry, I think speed with the post-practice pod is better. Get it out there for the people. But
by the way, we'll be back on Wednesday. So
we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll do a longer one. Also,
and then Go Birds Radio on Saturday. Believe it or not, it's actually happening. We're back. Yes.
So I have a final thought that I think is so good that I want to save it for in person, and I'm super fascinated.
I did that too. I have 2 final thoughts that I was going to use. I'm using my dumber one for today, and my
perfect.
I'm really excited.
So we'll budget some time for.
I'm excited. Yes. Okay. Mine will be quick today. Yes.
Do you think Johnny Wilson's a lock to make the team?
So obviously you're talking to someone who is not out there, doesn't know.
But that's why I think you have a good perspective because I don't want to overreact to what I'm seeing.
So he was a 6th-round pick last year. So just off the cuff, my gut is to say no, didn't do that much last year, but he did play. He played in the Super Bowl. So he was. I would say, like, I would certainly bet on him to make the team without being out there that seeing stuff. But lock, I wouldn't go as far as lock, but I would probably go the next step down for lock.
So maybe it's because I've been in the sun all day and I'm blanking on it, but like, I don't remember him being a great blocker last year, like which you think,
I don't either.
he should be great at. And I've been unimpressed by him as a receiver. Now, last year, I don't think he flashed as a receiver. And I think this year in the offseason, he's not flashed as a receiver either. You know who has, though, like Elijah Cooks. So Elijah Cooks, I believe, spent some time with the Jaguars. He's not a rookie. He's been in the NFL. I just know when I watch Elijah Cooks run and when I watch Johnny Wilson run, I know which one is better. Like I can just look and see. Now, I get it. It's training camp and all those things. Elijah Cooks has made some catches in camp that have sent the entire sideline into like a frenzy. He made one on Saturday where AJ Brown and everyone ran up to him and was like slapping his helmet and like, let's go. He made a catch today where my first thought when I saw the guy catch it was like, whoa, who's that? And then it was Elijah Cooks. He's just as big as Johnny Wilson. I don't know what the measurements are.
Really? He's that tall?
Yeah, just looking at him, they look the same size to me. He just looks more athletic. He looks faster. Johnny Wilson had a bad rep today in one-on-one versus Eli Ricks. He had the ball ripped out of his hand in the corner of the end zone by Mac McWilliams, which good play by Mac McWilliams. But if you're Johnny Wilson, your whole thing is supposed to be, I'm big, I'm strong.
Tough, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't let a rookie who's undersized rip the ball out of your hands like that. I think Johnny Wilson will probably make the team, and I think I'll have him on my 53 if I were to do one today. But I am officially on alert of looking at Elijah Cooks, and I'll say this: like Terrence Marshall, Danny Gray, and Elijah Cooks, I think have all done things separately in these past few days to start to raise the alarm. If you're Anais Smith, if you're Johnny Wilson, where you're right, you were only a 6th-round pick. Like you're not supposed to feel guaranteed, and these other guys are outplaying them. Like if you had to say to me, I could keep Elijah Cooks, Danny Gray, and Terrence Marshall, or Anais Smith and Johnny Wilson, it's not even a question for me. Like I would rather have the 3. We'll see what they pick, but they are definitely like I think Johnny Wilson's roster spot might be a little bit in danger.
So I feel like every year their wide receivers who flash who don't make the roster. Just
100%.
Like that's 100%. Just something that happens. That Deontay Burnett was brought up a couple with the Pop PLG. Like we just have those guys. So like I don't usually overreact too much to those bottom of the roster receivers who make big plays and all that. But what I will say about Johnny Wilson is I have yet to be impressed with him in a moment on a football field.
Yeah, he dropped the pass in the Super Bowl.
He dropped the pass in the Super Bowl. He dropped the pass. Probably dropped a touchdown. Like he's just, when I think of Johnny Wilson, I think of him dropping passes, not catching them.
And drops were an
I
issue
think
for
of
him at Florida State.
Yeah, and I think of someone who doesn't look fast, doesn't look super athletic. He's just big. So I'm fine. I have no connection to Johnny Wilson other than being part of a Super Bowl champion. Thanks, buddy. But like I'd be fine with it. I in general don't get too carried away with the wide receivers I've never heard of stepping up and being awesome.
Yeah, I think that's
feel
fair.
Like it happens so often.
And it's one thing we'll say a lot throughout this next month is like who gets through waivers and who doesn't. And I think Johnny Wilson would probably get claimed. Like he played a full season.
Certainly more likely than Elijah Cooks.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I think if you're a bad team that doesn't have much at receiver, you'd probably go like, oh, like this guy played for the Eagles. This guy, is tall. And so I think he'd probably make the team, but I'm on alert of like, I think he might be in trouble.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And who's the other guy? Oh, were they 2-1?
Yeah, that was kind of. I mean, we could talk about just very, very quickly. Montrell Johnson Jr., the running back out of Florida, has been awesome. He looks really good. He's clearly the guy that's.
And how he wants him to make the team.
Exactly.
You know it.
Yeah, I don't think he'll make the team, but my eyes are up on him. Another quick one. Dorian Thompson-Robinson has been really, really good the first 2 days. And I wanted to shout him out for that because he did not have a good first 2 days. He didn't have a good offseason, I thought, from when I saw him. But he is an NFL player. Like, I don't know if he's a starting NFL quarterback, but I think who he is now versus who he'll be at the end of the year will be very different. And you can already see the improvement he's getting by having real, actual NFL coaching, unlike, the Cleveland Browns. So
totally.
He made a few really nice throws today, like over the middle. He's really starting to stand out.
Look, I love the nickname DTR. It just works. It flows.
ESP DTR. Yeah,
that's exactly. Big fan of those type of nicknames. And look, he's not going to be the backup. That'll be McKee and all that. And in general, like,
and McCord will make it.
Yeah. So I don't have high hopes, but in general, I like the idea of having a backup who can move with you.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I've always liked that. So like when they got TJ, I was like, sure, that makes sense from a, a philosophical standpoint. All right.
Agreed.
Let's get to final thoughts.
Okay. So do you want me to go first?
You always do.
I do. Okay. All right. So this is true.
I think you asked me if you want me to go first every time, and you just go first every time. So
all right. So true. All right. So this is one from I have a few from my vacation, which feels like it was forever ago already, but I'll try to kind of bang through.
Well, we've only done a couple pods since
I know, because
you
went away and All right. So I would love to hear for some international Go Birds listeners on this. And maybe I just love water, but like
we know that about you. It's true.
The water sizes overseas are absurd. Wait,
hold on. You mean for like bottles, or you mean when you go out to a restaurant?
When you go to a restaurant,
okay.
They give you, and this is why you should watch on YouTube, but like this much water, like it's crazy.
God.
It's a small cup, and you know what they do too, and maybe actually. I'll say this. I go to nice restaurants and I don't run into this in Philly. They put a bottle on your table and they charge you as you drink the water. So like they give you a little bit of water. They give you a little bit of water. Dude, and then I'll drink it and I drink it. And like one day me and Kristen got charged like 40 euros or something for water bottles because we didn't realize that they were continually pouring.
This is insane.
They don't do ice over there either, really. Like there was no ice. And so I wonder if it's an American thing where it's like huge glasses of water with like ice and like pitchers on the table. I was in Wales, I was in Luxembourg and Portugal, Lisbon, and like every single place, like the waters, I continually found myself wanting more water because I'm a thirsty guy, number one. But number two, like it was just crazy. So like I've found this in all my travels. It was like this in Brazil. The water sizes overseas are so much smaller than in America.
So I'm sure it's a thing. And I do want to hear that. Sometimes you'll say, I want to hear from certain listeners and I'll be like, okay, you can reach out to Elliot. I don't care. I care about this. I'm actually
Charlie from Denmark. I'd love to know.
Charlie, absolutely. Let us know. Cause I'm fascinated by this. I would guess it is more the culture that way. It's part of I'm sure it's a thing. I think, look, save water. Water is a resource and all that. Outside of that, like
maybe that's it. Maybe it's they don't want to overserve. Maybe in America,
I am a give me my water while I eat type of person.
Yes.
Any place in America that puts a bottle of water on the table that they refill and just let me fill my own water, it's like my favorite place.
Thank you. Like a big pitcher. Same exact.
I don't want to have to even ask you to fill my water because I just want to fill it myself because I want to keep drinking it.
Also, when you're eating and you're thirsty, it becomes tough to continue to enjoy the meal 100%. Because you're thirsty. Yeah. So like it drove me up a wall the entire time. And then again, to charge, like if I'm in a nice restaurant, I understand you're going to charge for a bottle of water, but they don't do that in America unless it's sparkling. Like they were doing it for still water.
However, they'll say, do you want tap water or still
exactly.
water? They'll let you know if you're paying for it. Yeah, no, I would not have handled that well. So good job.
Yeah, I didn't either. Trust me. But
all right. I said this would be a quick one. It's more of a, I can't believe that I lived 43 years without knowing what this meant. And I feel so dumb. But I think there's a chance you might not too, because it does seem up your alley not knowing. And I think one of these things where it's one of the things you've heard the thing a million times, you're like, oh, yeah, of course I know what that is and whatever. But what it actually stands for, and I'm intrigued to now. You don't have to all tweet me this, but I'm intrigued. I wonder how much of our audience knew this. Okay. I bet it's like above it. I think I'm dumb. Okay, I think this is something I should have known, but I could also see it being something where only like 10% or 20% actually know what it means, but we all know what it is. Okay. Do you know what SOS stands for?
I know what SOS means.
Of course, that's my point.
Save our ship.
So close. It stands for Save Our Souls.
Oh.
I had no idea. I found
didn't
this
either.
out this week, and I'm like, well, I'm an idiot. I never even thought about what it meant. I was like, SOS, sure, SOS. But you were close.
I guess that does make sense. Yeah.
Yes, because you're on an island. It doesn't have to be on a ship. It can be Save Our Souls on an island, whatever. Save Our Souls.
Sense.
It makes total sense. Yeah. I just never knew it. I never thought about it. SOS means Save Our Souls.
Well, especially since I knew very much what it meant.
You were right there. Yeah, you were really close. That was a great guess.
But I also knew in context. Like I can use SOS.
I just never thought about it. I saw it and I didn't get the guess or whatever. And I was like, I just never thought about it before. There you go. Good,
Pretty
right?
Interesting.
I know. I'm happy I know.
It's a little bit of a downer. For some reason, Save Our Ship doesn't sound as bad as Save Our Souls.
Sounds but I guess that's like it sounds.
I mean, it's a dire situation.
Tucker is saying it was adapted later. Tucker, just hop on here. Don't.
What do you mean adapted later?
What are you talking about? All right.
Well, so it's more. It's Morse code, right?
Ah, there you go.
And
okay.
to make it easiest, like the easiest distress symbol to do, because Morse code is dots and lines, right? It's 3 dots, 3 lines, 3 dots. Those just happen to be the letters SOS.
Okay, well, hold on. 2 questions.
I love that we got a Morse code expert. We didn't even know.
Well, first of all, did you just look this up or did you know this?
No, I knew this.
Yeah.
All right. I can't believe you knew this much about it. Like, but 2, why?
I don't know a lot about Morse code.
What do you mean it was just adapted?
He said
like it was just like the letters SOS are just coincidental, and then after the fact they made it.
Why was it that Morse code in the first place?
One at a time.
Because it's the easiest to know. Because it's 3 dots, 3 lines, 3 dots. Like it's the easiest. Why
wouldn't they just do 1 dot, 1 line, 1 dot?
I don't know. That's just what
they
did.
Right? You know what I mean? Though,
but it was a distress signal that it happened to be those 3 letters.
Dot.
Yeah.
Distress signal. Dot.
And also, ship and soul are the same exact amount of letters.
Well, yeah, sure.
Well, I'm just saying, if we're typing out a word, it's not like one word is like ambulance and the other.
No. You don't do all the letters. So he's saying like save our soul. They're each three things for each of them.
So soul is 3 things, as is ship, is what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. But it's S. It's the letter.
It's just S. It's just SOS, and then it was adopted as save our ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So SOS came first, and then they decided it meant save our soul.
Yes.
I guess that makes sense in a way that it works so perfectly for what it is.
I mean, they could have been like, AJH or something. And all
of
a sudden it's like,
well, it's like the Uncle Sam thing. Like Uncle Sam wasn't a real person, but all the stuff they got shipped to like GIs said US, and so they also said it's from Uncle Sam.
Do you guys want to hear something crazy before we go off? This would have been a good.
I do.
Okay. Do you guys remember the movie Shazam with Sinbad?
Of course. Well, no, it's with
no.
You're Shazam with
Shazam. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yes.
Shazam is the one with Sinbad. Like, you remember this?
Okay. Yes.
Do you want to hear something crazy? Not a real movie.
Yeah, so this is one of those Mandela effect
right? Isn't that crazy?
So I only remember the Shaq one, but I've heard about this Mandela thing before, and I think that's why I knew what you were talking about. Yeah.
My sister texted me like, "Do you remember the movie with Sinbad, Shazam?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I do." And she's like, "No, it's not a real movie." And my literal answer was, "Nah, you're wrong." Like, I was like, "You're dead wrong."
The Mandela. So when you go through some of those like famous Mandela effect things, it's
is there another
wild.
one? Isn't there a Berenstain Bears one?
Yeah, well, that's one of them. It's
Steen or Stain, like the way it's either EIN or AIN.
No. I thought it was that it was. Is it that? I thought it was like that. It's Bernstein as opposed to Berenstein.
Yeah, it's a pronunciation thing.
I think it's like Bernstein as opposed to Berenstein or something. I don't know. Either way, yes, that is one of them. There are a few.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway,
nice.
Yeah,
love it.
But it is crazy. There's a Kazam and a Shazam. Like that.
Yes.
That definitely helps with it.
Oh, totally. And Tucker, thank you for, jumping in and making sure I wasn't just, it does stand for Save Our Souls. It just didn't initially stand for Save Our Souls. That's basically the takeaway.
To circle all the way back.
Yeah, good.
I like that. There we go.
That was great.
Morse code in the pod.
Well, we're educating is what we're doing.
You know what the pod title should be? SOS Save Our Safeties. Right? That's good.
You're on fire with the pod.
It's good, right? Yeah, thank you.
Really good.
Thank
Very
you.
clever.
I'm in preseason mode.
You're white hot. All right. Wednesday, we'll be back. We'll be in studio together. We'll have our fun final thoughts, and I'm sure a whole lot more. And then Saturday, 1 to 3:30. Actually, I think we got leading off.
1 to 3 Eagles.
Yeah. We will be back with Go Birds Radio. So we need to talk to all our real ones because it has been a while. Can't wait for that. So until Wednesday, he's Adam James.